It is a very good morning to you all and welcome to the Breakfast Club right here on Asake. And as you know, May is dedicated to the month of mental health awareness. As you know, health is a state of physical, mental, and social well-being, and not just the absence of disease. So to discuss more on mental health issues, which are affecting a lot of young people, particularly even gentlemen these days, we've seen that there's been a significant rise in suicide cases across the country. And it is a worrying trend, considering that we all want everyone to be healthy and to be happy wherever they are. So to help me discuss more on this issue, I'm joined by Slindile from Friendship Bench, Zimbabwe. It is a good morning to you and thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you, guys. Nice to join you. Yes, my name is Lesley Moyo and I'm coming from Friendship Bench. I'm the implementation manager for Matebeleland Profit.
Maybe just to start off the show, what is mental health?
When we're talking about mental health, maybe putting it simple, we're just talking of being healthy mentally. So it's a state of well-being where one is able to realize their potential, they're able to cope with life stressors, they're able to make decisions, sound decisions, and they can also contribute to meaningful community production. So we are saying it's being healthy mentally, and you're able to carry out your duties, maybe as a wife, as a mother, as a man, as a worker, as a school-going people. So we are saying that state of being able to do that, that's mental health.
All right, so in the past, it wasn't really spoken about. People didn't really speak about mental health issues. In fact, if someone said they were depressed, people would like, why are you depressed? There's nothing to be depressed about. You know, it wasn't really spoken about. So maybe the question that people would ask is, are there cures for mental health issues?
Yes, they are. So when we're talking of treatment, sometimes in as much as mental health issues do not really go away entirely, sometimes we have to take medication to control them. Then sometimes you can also use psychotherapy methods like talking to someone, what we refer to as talk therapy. And sometimes you need to take medication. So yes, cures are there for mental health issues. But it depends maybe with the severity, where sometimes maybe you have to take medication, sometimes you just need someone to talk to, and you are treated. Yeah.
Okay, so in recent years, and particularly in recent months, especially during the COVID-19 period, we saw an increased mark in the number of suicide cases in Zimbabwe, particularly from males. And I know every week everyone's always shocked. Everyone's always shocked, like, where is this coming from? What is happening? So in regards to that, where are we missing the mark as a society when it comes to mental health issues? And how do we break the cycle around suicide cases as well as depression and anxiety and all of those things, particularly looking at the male child?
Yeah, Funga, this is a very tricky one because, you know, the way men are socialized, it is very difficult for men to really open up and talk about their feelings and emotions. And because of that now, that's where we are missing it. So we need to socialize men so that they are able to open up and talk freely about their feelings, about their emotions. Then the other thing is men really are reluctant to seek help. They have poor seeking help, health behaviors, whereby sometimes they downplay these symptoms, you know, which are, no, I think I'm just under the cloud. I don't think it's something that is serious that I have to seek treatment for or to seek an intervention for. So all these are where we are really missing it. And now to break the cycle, it is very important to dispel the myths that are there around mental health. Because sometimes we feel that depression is for the rich, depression is for those that are, yes. But depression affects everyone, regardless of being rich, regardless of your social status. So it's something that we need to let people know. And the other thing is we have to let people know that mental health issues are not terminal. As you have asked before, of them being treatable or not. They are not terminal. You can have an intervention, you can be assisted, and you can go through the mental health issue and get over that. And the other thing is, it is really wise and important to raise awareness in terms of mental health issues. People have to know, people have to have resources for that, and let people understand what really mental health is. And the important thing is to try and stay away from stigma. because we have a stigma that is really associated with mental health issues. That really, as a result of that, people do not seek help because of that stigma. So these may help us to break the cycle around these suicide cases that are rising recently.
As an individual, as a person, how do I know that I am unwell when it comes to mental health? And how do I know this is the time for me to seek out counseling? This is the time for me to get help? Because I feel like sometimes we rely on the inner being, the soul. Okay, no, I know that if I pray, my problem will go away. I know that if I just rely on myself and if I just go through it, then everything will be fine. But you find that a lot of people end up doing the exact opposite, where they end up committing suicide because they feel that there's really no answer to their problem. So when do I know that definitely at this point, Fungai, you need to go for counseling?
So the very important thing that you have to take note of is when you're starting to feel overwhelmed, when you feel that you cannot take it anymore, when you feel that there's no meaning in life, it means there's need for an intervention. Sometimes when someone starts to use drugs or alcohol as a means to cope, or maybe there's an increase in intake of alcohol, because there's that behavioral change that happens. And if you notice that behavioral change, especially on the negative side, it means there's an intervention that is really needed. And if someone has thoughts of harming others or harming self, it means that that is high time to seek help. And sometimes when we are really not functioning well, your daily functioning is affected. Maybe, for example, you go to work, but now you wake up, you don't want to go to work, you are no longer performing. It means you need assistance. And maybe the easiest one that we can really see, that is really easy to notice, is sometimes maybe when you lose interest in things that you once liked. Maybe you loved baking before, you left going to the sports and all. But if now there are those changes that now you lose interest in those things, it means something's wrong and you need help.
Okay. All right. So that's very interesting. So looking at the website, Year Friendship Bench and the likes, I was looking at some of the things that you guys offer. And you widely talk about what is known as talk therapy. What is talk therapy?
Okay. So when we're referring to talk therapy, it's another way of treatment when you're looking at psychological issues. But this one now is independent of medication. We don't use any medication. We don't prescribe any medication. It's just a one-on-one talk that we have with the client, and they come up with their own ways. We encourage them to come up with their own ways and solutions to solve their problems, because they know they have these resources that they are around them that they can use. So when you're talking of talk therapy, it's just a psychological treatment. It's just another way of treating mental disorders or emotional or personality disorders that we use. And a trained therapist uses this method. I know we have other ways that we use, going to our auntie, over and yeah, we can say that is talk therapy, but sometimes it's different from because those they give advice. For us, we don't give advice. Yeah, so a client has to come up with this or her solutions that work for him. Then we look at the pros and cons of those solutions, and then they go and implement those solutions. Then we come back and we review if it worked or not. So it's just the talking, the counseling, where we don't have any medication. We don't use any medication.
All right, so that is talk therapy. And then you've highlighted that there is a point where someone would need medication. At what point or at what juncture do you guys then see that a person requires medication? And also, what does the medication do? I know a lot of people are against the idea of medication when it comes to mental health, because you feel like when it comes to mental health, it's not really physical. You feel like if I'm taking medication, it's because my leg is broken or my kidney is not functioning. Why would I take medication for the mind? It doesn't manipulate the mind at the end of the day. So what happens when one is now being referred to taking medication to deal with mental health issues?
Okay, so for us, we screen for depression. We focus mainly on depression and anxiety as friendship bench. And so we have what we refer to as red flags, where someone is suicidal ideation, where someone has hallucinations. So for those, we don't really offer therapy. We have to refer to clinic or the hospital for them for further management. to see what really causes those hallucinations and all. So medication is there to try and lessen the symptoms and try and have that person being maybe stable. So sometimes so that maybe we can be able to talk to them. So medication, especially the antidepressants, they kind of elevate someone, their spirits or their emotions. If they are low and all, they kind of boost their emotions and also assist them to be happy and have all those other feelings. So really, I cannot really say much on medication because that's not my specialty. But they really assist in someone boosting their emotions and helping them to cope more in life. Yeah.
Okay. And then as an individual, say I want to get in touch with Friendship Bench, say it's my first time, because a lot of people talk about, yes, I need help, I want assistance and the like. So if I'm a first timer and I want to approach Friendship Bench and have that conversation that is needed for me to deal with my mental issues, how does an individual go about?
Okay, so at Friendship Bench, our physical address, we are located number 4, Will Road in Milton Park, Harare. That's our headquarters. Then we are also in various clinics in Zimbabwe. We are in Masvingo, we are in Bulawayo, we are in Kwekwe, we are in Gweru, Marondera, we are in Gwanda. So we are in primary health care facilities where the community health care workers offer the services. Those that we refer to as Inshona, Wanambuya Utano, then Indebele Ogogo, Wempilakahle, those that wear the brown uniforms. So they offer these services in various clinics in Zimbabwe. And we are also online, we offer online services. And our open line number is 0784 845 294 for online services. So we offer both physical and online services.
Due to the stigma, of course, I feel like that online platform is very much a brilliant idea, particularly for youths who spend most of their times on their cell phones. So what happens during this online process? Do I have to say my name? Can I remain anonymous? Who do I talk to when I'm going through this online process of talking to Friendship Bench?
Okay, for us, our services are anonymous and confidential. We don't ask for names from clients. So what happens if someone books for a session, this is just one number for everyone to book, then they are assigned to a therapist. So a therapist can get hold of you, maybe you want at your free time, in the comfort of your home, maybe wherever you want to do the sessions. And it's either you do it as a call-in, as a WhatsApp call, or you can type or use the audio notes. So it depends on what the client prefers when we are on using the online, but it's confidential and anonymous.
Who are the Friendship Bench peer counselors? I saw that popping up as well on your website as well.
So mainly we have the grandmothers that I talked about and the grandfathers. Recently we have started training the male grandfathers, but before it was mainly the grandmothers. And that's why we still refer to them as Anambuya Utano. So those are our peer counselors. They are in various clinics, as I mentioned that before. We have also the youth, what we refer to as the young counselors, the youth buddies. These are the college students that are on attachment. We train them to offer again counseling services to their peers. And we also have what we refer to as mental health champions. We also trained people from different companies to offer psychosocial support to their workmates, and these are called mental health champions. So we can train, for example, maybe ZESA, then they offer psychosocial support to their peers. And so basically we have these 3 as peer counselors from Friendship Bench.
As an individual, say I want to come for counseling, are there certain issues that you talk about with people? Like if I have a certain problem, is that what you talk about, or I'm open to come to you to talk about literally anything that may be happening in my life?
So for us, we talk about anything. We talk about anything, relationship issues, the financial issues, we have got the sexual issues. It's just basically all the social issues that people come across in their life. We just discuss everything.
as I highlighted at the beginning of this interview, that, you know, May is dedicated to Mental Health Awareness Month. What advice would you give youths out there who are battling with mental health issues, who aren't really sure about what to do with their lives, who are aware that they may have a problem but aren't really ready to reach out and talk to someone else? What advice would you give to that gentleman, to that young man who's actually thinking that, you know what, my life is really not worth it. Maybe today's the day that I end my life and just be at peace, as a lot of people allude to. What advice would you give them as a mental health advocate?
Thank you for that question. Okay, so the first thing is you have to look after mental health. Be your boss for your mental health. No one can do that for you. And if you want to assist someone else, you cannot pour from an empty cup. That is very impossible. So you need to look after your mental health so that you can also be a support system for someone else. Because we are also the eyes of the community. We have other people that are suffering from these mental health issues, but maybe they do not have an idea of what is really going on with them. And you need to be an eye to them and be of help to them. So before you do that, you have to look after your mental health. Then the other thing is to maybe educate yourself about these mental health issues. Know what the symptoms are, know where to go to seek for help. If you as an individual, or you know someone who needs help, and maybe you can refer them to those organizations like Friendship Bench. Also, it is important again to maybe what can I say, to open up about experience. We have people that have gone through maybe substance use and all. It's important again to open up about those experiences, what you learned and how maybe you got over that. It can also be as a lesson to other young people. And it is also important to encourage kind language. I think I spoke about stigma before. It's so sad that people really are not really free to talk about mental health issues in our communities because of that stigma, because of the language that we are using as a community. You hear people say, hello, yahlanya. And that word, yahlanya, it is, you know, and that person cannot really go to seek for assistance. So you're saying use kind language when we are talking about mental health issues. And the other thing is, as an individual, again, maybe you can also practice positive coping strategies. Maybe you're going through something, you're going through stuff, and you want to hide behind maybe alcohol use, which will maybe worsen the condition. Yeah, so I'm saying maybe engage in positive coping strategies, talk to someone, practice self-care, look after yourself. And again, as youth, you know, they're always on social media. Avoiding stressors like social media. I know social media, I know some of these people, they live a lie on social media. And these young people, they these pressures, I want to be like this, I want to be like so. And that also affects their mental health. So I'm just saying, just avoid or limit or take a break from the social media. It can also assist you in terms of mental health. And if you are taking any medication, as we know, people are taking different medications. If you're suffering from any chronic illnesses or what, it also helps you to have a sound mental health to adhere to medication. It can also help you. Then again, the other thing is we have the peer pressures from maybe our community friends and whatever, like I've been referring again to the social media. Learn to say no to something that you know you're not capable of doing. It's fine, it's okay to say no. I'm unable to do this at the moment. Then maybe the other thing is again is to be a strong support system for your family, for your friends, and be a pillar to someone else.
As you were talking, it just came to mind for me that we live in a society where even our parents are really the worst people really talk about mental health issues. My boyfriend broke up with me today, I'm depressed. Depression and what advice would you give to parents when it comes to mental health issues, particularly dealing with it at home, within the home, essentially? What advice would you give before we part ways?
Yeah, as I mentioned before, that we need to educate ourselves about mental health issues. Sometimes we can blame them, but maybe they are doing that out of ignorance. They don't even know what depression is. Because in our African culture, it's something that is unheard of. It's something that we believe it's from the Western side. But it's important now, like we normally, as Friendship Bench, use our community health workers in communities to door the door. They do door by door. They offer these education lessons to people. And so we also have flyers. We also have our websites where people can visit to get the knowledge on mental health issues. So it is very important to also educate our parents as we talk to them. Because sometimes they really don't have an idea of when we're talking about depression. They don't even know what depression is. So
absolutely,
it is very important to also educate them and just talk to them nicely. And if as an individual, you can't, as Friendship Bench, we also offer these awareness campaigns. We also offer the sensitizations. We go in different communities and we do our mobilizations where maybe we go by the shops and we talk to people. So we try to engage these people, but sometimes maybe it may take time, but they will learn. So it is very important to educate our parents.
As we go our separate ways, how do I get in touch with Friendship Bench, whether on your social media platforms or that number again that you gave where someone can just reach you on their mobile device?
Okay, all right. So for our online services or to book for sessions online, you can use the number 0784 845 294. Then we are also on Facebook at Friendship Bench. We are also on Instagram at Friendship Bench Zimbabwe. Then our website is www.friendshipbenchzimbabwe.org. Then we have another new initiative that we have again, where we are offering the same services to our healthcare workers. We are talking about the nurses, the doctors, anyone who's in the medical facility, because you know the impact of COVID and this being our frontliners. Yeah, so we have another line for them to again have this psychosocial support. So their number is 0786 881 821. So this one mainly is for the healthcare workers. But the other one that I gave you earlier on is for everyone who is maybe not in the medical environment.
Slindi, thank you so much for coming through. Thank you so much for the work, the important work that you're doing as Friendship Bench. We hope to be in touch with you in future to discuss more about mental health issues. And like she said, Wuti, you know what? Mental health is wealth. Make sure you take care of your health, whether you're a youth, you're an individual, take care of yourself and reach out to those numbers. So thank you once again for joining us. And thank you at home for watching the show, The Breakfast Club. Make sure you catch us again tomorrow right here on Asake.